Hello, I'm Laura. It's Monday, March 9th, 2026, and these are today's Heartlines. Our theme for Heartlines this week is our human family, and today we are focused on the family of our personal relationships. A good focus, huh? Especially since I have looked through the headlines to find something to say for today, and it is filled with news of the war in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine, and conflicts around the world, and political divisions in the United States, and on it goes. It can be very disheartening to read through all of this, wondering, why can't people just come together? Why can't the leaders of our world just come together and be open to each other, listen to each other, hear each other's needs, find a way to come together to create more peace in our world rather than more war? And then as I was reading through all of this news, I came across a prayer given by Pope Leo at his Sunday service this week. He said, "Let us raise our humble prayer to the Lord, that the roar of bombs may cease, that the weapons may fall silent, and that a space for dialogue may open, in which the voice of people may be heard." What a beautiful prayer. And it calls for several things in us and in our world leaders that made me reflect on the relationships in my own life. It calls for humility, the humility to trust that there is a presence, a greater divine presence, and that is a presence of love that is in every heart. And we have but to put the words and the practices into play that help to awaken it in each other. It also points out that the bombs and the weapons need to cease. And what occurred to me were the bombs and the weapons I use, not of violence, not of violently attacking anybody else, not even thinking in that particular direction. But what I do is I will speak words of anger and offense when I feel I have been offended. For example, if I think my husband has offended me, I will strike back in full. And on a larger, more violent scale, isn't that what the people of our world are doing? They feel they've been offended, or they need to protect something about themselves, or they need to establish themselves more firmly in the world and in life, and so they attack the other. And then, unsurprisingly, the other attacks back, and the attacks keep going, with each refusing to give up their place of being right. So what if we started with our own relationships? What if we started giving up our place of being right to that higher power of divine love? What if we, as the Pope prayed, became open, in which the voice of every person could be heard? If we establish that kind of listening, that kind of love in our own relationships, we just might see, perhaps little by little, perhaps in great leaps, our world finding greater states of peace. So we're going to begin that process of awakening to that divine love in ourselves and in our personal relationships by taking a deep breath and focusing on this thought. I practice peace in my everyday relationships enhancing its presence in the world. A simple and powerful idea. Once again, I practice peace in my everyday relationships, enhancing its presence in the world. And so it is. So, how often should we practice peace? You know, Jesus was once asked, how often should I forgive? 7 times, because 7 was a number of completion in that tradition. And Jesus said, not just 7 times, but 70 times 7. In other words, forgive and forgive and forgive. Ad infinitum. Practice peace. Practice peace. Practice peace. As much as you can in your personal relationships. And should you slip from that practice, because we are all human after all, then practice that forgiveness and peace on yourself. Take a deep breath and start over. And in closing, I offer this idea. When I feel I've been attacked, peace, be still. When I want to strike back, peace, be still. With every thought, word, and act, peace, be still. May you find greater peace in your everyday life, in your relationships, and just perhaps we will see it in our world. Thank you for joining me in creating a more peaceful world through every relationship of life. Have a wonderful day.